Hi, how are you? It's Cameron here from Freedom Solar and Batteries, and today's video I just want to talk about the new federal battery scheme, which is the Cheaper Home Batteries program. We've been getting almost daily updates from our suppliers, ACPs and aggregators, and I just wanted to sort of share with you some of the information that's come through. That we just did. I'll just read out most of a letter that we got through as of 20th of May, which was yesterday. But yeah, I'll go through it and then maybe explain some of the bullet points and hopefully clarify where the intention is for these documents that are coming through. But the Cheaper Home Batteries program is a $2.3 billion program, which will support Australian households and small businesses, crucial that it's small businesses as well, with a discount on the cost of installing a small-scale battery system. The program aims to help households make the most of cheap and clean solar power by storing it for when it's needed. It'll reduce costs for everyone, not just those who install a battery, because it means a less expensive gas power generation, poles and wires. It localizes that energy storage to where you live, so you're not having to buy energy of no matter how it's been generated to you. The program begins on the 1st of July 2025 and will provide around about a 30% discount on the upfront cost of installing a battery or eligible batteries. Now that 30% is dependent on what battery you choose, because the rebate is a set amount based on the usable capacity of the battery. So a cheaper battery, that discount might be over 50%. A more expensive, higher end battery, then it might be only a 20% discount. But on average, they're looking at providing a 30% discount. The discount will generally be provided via the solar and battery retailers and installers, people like us, and the Cheaper Home Batteries program will be delivered through the Small Scale Renewable Energy Scheme, or the SRES, administered by the Clean Energy Regulator. Now, that is the scheme that's been in operation for many, many years, that gives you the rebates involved with solar panel installation. So that scheme has been expanded to take in small-scale batteries. The Renewable Energy Regulation 2001 will be amended to expand the eligibility of the SRES to include batteries. Now, the intended eligibility for the Cheaper Home Batteries program. So the criteria have been developed to provide a guideline to in the likely settings of the Cheaper Home Battery program. Details will be confirmed in regulation, and until then, the requirements may change. So there's still a little bit of fluidity in how the system will work and how the eligibility will be managed. But the minimum and maximum battery size must be in the range of 5 kilowatt hours to 100 kilowatt hours in nominal capacity. Now, the nominal capacity is the maximum amount of energy that the battery can store at full charge. The discount will be provided for up to 50 kilowatt hours. So if you put a 100 kilowatt hour battery in, you'll only get paid for the first 50 kilowatt hours that's installed, which is still a very, very generous rebate. The program is intended to support residential and small-scale battery systems. Electric vehicles are not eligible battery systems. So you might think, oh, I've got electric vehicles, I'm going to buy one, it's got 60 kilowatt hours of storage in it. Yep, not eligible. The battery system must comply with the relevant standards. 5139 2019 would include a single battery unit, or a system of modular battery cells connected to serve as one battery unit. So this covers, the stackable batteries. We call them the Lego blocks. You stack batteries on top of each other. Once that stack has been completed, that serves as one battery. Additional capacity added. Now, this is what a bit of discussion and questions have been asked around this part. Additional capacity added to an existing battery system is eligible if the battery system has not previously received a discount under this program. So if you've got an existing battery that's well, that's already there, well, it hasn't received a discount under this program because this program still doesn't exist until July 1st. So if you have a battery and you want to expand it, then you will be able to access the discount on the new additional capacity. Now, if you're going to do that, the additional capacity must be at least 5 kilowatt hours, and the total upgraded capacity of the battery must not exceed 100 kilowatt hours. So if you've got a 20 kilowatt hour battery existing and you decide that you want to expand that for up to 100 kilowatt hours, the minimum expansion will be 5 kilowatt hours, then you will get the discount, the incentive, based on that extra 30 kilowatt hours up to 50. So remember, it only pays up to the 50 kilowatt hour capacity. You are allowed to go bigger. The state scheme, it cuts off at 28, and you can't go past it. If you go past, you don't get the rebate at all. So this is a pretty generous side of the federal rebate, that you do have that scope to go to 100. You get paid up to 50 kilowatt hours. So that's the condition, providing that the battery you have that's existing has not received a discount under this scheme. If at Christmas time and you've got a battery that you've installed in July and you've received a discount, and then you decide that you want to go bigger, you won't get the discount because you've already received a discount on the batteries there. So, but as it stands now, all the batteries that are connected to your house now, you will be able to expand, and you will be able to utilize that incentive that's on offer. Okay, but not a second time. So yeah, and the last term is additional capacity that is later added to an existing battery that received a discount under this program would not be eligible. Accreditation of the battery systems. The battery system and the inverter must be listed on the Clean Energy Council CEC approved products list, which is a standard requirement for the whole scheme anyway. Now, on-grid and off-grid. This is a question that I have been asked many times about off-grid batteries. So I'll read this. Battery systems supported under the program can be installed either on-grid or off-grid. A battery system connected to an electricity grid, including the national electricity market, is an on-grid system. An off-grid battery system is not connected to an electricity network, defined as being at least 1 kilometre from the main grid line, or where the cost to connect to the grid exceeds $30,000. So if you fall under either of those categories, the incentive is available to you. Now, as a clarification for the New South Wales scheme, which is a PDRS or peak demand reduction scheme, off-grid is not available, is not applicable to the PDRS. So if you're putting an off-grid system together after July 1, you'll get the federal rebate, but you won't get the state rebate, because if you're off-grid and you put a battery in, you're not making any difference to the peak demand issues in your area because you're not connected to the grid anyway, so it doesn't apply. But the federal grant does. VPP capability. A battery in an on-grid system needs to be capable of being coordinated through a virtual power plant, but does not need to be connected to the VPP. It just needs to be capable. To be VPP capable, a battery must be able to connect to the electricity grid and respond to signals from a third-party VPP, which means the VPP company will have control over your battery. It means that they can force a discharge or even force a charge to charge or discharge the battery so that it's supporting the grid. That method is how it helps in peak demand. So when there's a huge demand, it can discharge batteries. When there's no demand or very low demand, it can use the energy it's trying to find a home for and charge your battery. Discounts for eligible battery systems, the STC calculation. So yeah, we're using small-scale technology certificates for these batteries. That's what we've been using for many years on the solar panels, and it's been expanded to include the batteries. Now, this is what the industry wanted. This is exactly what the industry wanted, and they've listened and have used this scheme because it's already a robust scheme, works well. We're all very familiar with it. The number of small-scale technology certificates that a battery system is eligible for will be in the reference to the kilowatt hours of usable capacity in the battery system. Now, the usable capacity of the battery is the amount of energy that can be discharged from a battery and represents the power that a home or a small business can draw from the battery. STCs will be only provided on the first 50 kilowatt hours of the usable capacity of the battery system. Now, usable capacity is an interesting point because some batteries may have a sticker capacity of, one I can think of, 10.1 kilowatt hours, but its usable capacity is 9.6. Yet the big brother in that model range has a sticker stated capacity of 13.3, yet its usable capacity is 13.3. So there's just has to be a little bit of care with the way that's calculated. Otherwise, your retailer could end up losing a bit of money. So yeah, the discount rate in 2025 will be represented at 9.3 STCs per kilowatt hour of usable capacity, which based on $40 an STC is equivalent around to $372 a kilowatt. Now, that's based on 40, which is the cap for an STC. That's the cap value for the STC. Realistic values are more like around about the $38 mark. So an STC, like the rebate per kilowatt hour, which they state will be around about $372. In real world terms, might be more likely around about $340 odd per kilowatt hour of storage. So the number of battery systems, a single battery system installation at a premises is eligible for support once under the program. Additional rebates or incentives from states and territories may be available for batteries. Eligibility or other support will depend on criteria that applies in those schemes. Question mark over the New South Wales PDRS. The intention is that we'll be able to stack or use the schemes together, so it gives you an increased benefit. So you're getting an incentive from New South Wales and also the incentive from the federal. Putting them together creates a very big discount. That's the intention of it. But there is a bit of a quirk in the legislation for the PDRS where there is a sentence that says it cannot be used with any other incentive. What we know in this industry is that they are trying to reword that legislation so that it can be used as well as the federal rebate. Otherwise, there's going to be some issues. They are working on it. The intention is that the two schemes will work together, same as in Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, wherever there's other schemes. It is a different process, so the schemes should be able to operate together. You can only use accredited battery installers, of course, must be accredited through the Solar Accreditation Australia or the SAA. Supervision must be, the battery installation must be undertaken by or with the supervision on site from accredited battery installer under the SAA. The installation date, a battery system may be eligible for support if it's installed on or after 1st of July 2025. Now, a battery system is considered installed when a certificate of electrical compliance, or in New South Wales we call it a CCEW, or equivalent, is signed, which confirms that the system complies with the relevant state and territory electrical safety regulations. So, like I said, I'll read that again. A battery system is considered installed when the certificate of compliance is completed. So that's the regulation around the date. That must happen on or after July 1st. Doesn't mean you can't install it before July 1. So you can install it now, providing it's not turned on or complied, or we can't operate. Like the way the rules are, is that we can't turn the system on or operate the system until a CCW has been written. So the CCW must be provided on the day the system is commissioned. We can't run it before that day. So someone could install it today, write a CCW today, system can be turned on and run, but you won't be able to claim the incentive because it was done on 21st of May, which is before July 1. So we can install it, just means we can't turn it on, we can't commission it until July 1. So yeah, that could help get yourself ahead of the game before the July 1 rush. Installing a battery system with solar PV. A battery system must be installed with an existing or new solar system at the premises. The battery system installation standard, it must comply with industry developed best practice guide for battery storage equipment. So that means it's got to be 600 mils from a door opening or the vertical plane of a line of a window. It must be against a fireproof wall. So if it's on the outside of a brick wall or even, then that's fine. If it's on the inside of a brick wall, you really want to choose the external wall of a garage. If it's going to back onto a habitable space, then it must have some fireproofing behind it. It cannot be under a window that vents into a habitable space. If it's not a habitable space like a garage, then that doesn't matter. That's okay. So windows are a real issue if they vent into a habitable space. So you can't park it next to the window into the lounge room or a bedroom, or any habitable space inside your house. Naturally they're worried about getting in and out. So if you park it next to a door and there's an issue, you can't use that door to get out because there's a fire there. So it's got to be a couple of feet away from the door, which gives you an opportunity to get out, get past it. Roller doors are a bit different because they're much wider than the standard 900mm for a door. So then it has to be 900mm away from where you could get around. So it can be 600mm to the door, and if the roller door's opened, you've still got plenty of space to get out and around it. Consumer protections, additional safety. There's written statements that the retailer and installer are required under the SRES, which is the same as what we currently do for PV. So that's they're provided to the customer with the regular technical details that we normally hand over. Inspections, same requirements apply as it does with the PV installations. So they're reviewing, obviously, testing arrangements because you're going to test a battery a whole lot different than you test a PV system. Compliance with the state and territory laws and electrical safety regulations. So if you want to know more, you can definitely contact me and ask me some more questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll go find out. If I do know the answer, I'll definitely share it with you. There's a couple of talking points. The main talking points are, is if it's an existing system, an existing battery, yes, you can install it. Yes, you will attract the incentive, only if no incentive has been paid on that before. So there's only one bite at the cherry. So the secret is, if you're going to install a battery under the scheme, go for the bigger one. Opt for err on the larger side of the battery that you would normally think you might require, because you can't revisit that scheme again for that battery after one incentive has been paid. If you have a battery existing that's already there now and it has not been paid under this incentive, then have at it, expand it, you'll get the incentive, but just the once. Off-grid, yes, you can get this incentive on off-grid. So the batteries size-wise must be a minimum of 5 kilowatt hours, maximum of 100. You'll only get paid for the first 50. Interesting, very interesting times. The budget so far for this is $2.3 billion. Now, the scheme ends at the end of 2030. So it's actually going to roll down, as does the STC scheme for the solar panels. So I'm going to use the same wind down period. So the STC factor for this year is 9.3 STCs per kilowatt hour. As of January 1, it'll be 8.4 per kilowatt hour. 1st of January 2027, 7.4, then 6.5, 5.6. The last year at the beginning of 2030, it'll only be 4.7 STCs per kilowatt hour, which is only about $188 per kilowatt hour of storage. And that's winding it down over pretty quick period of time. It's only a 5.5 year scheme. We'll only have 6 months this year to get the maximum rebate amount. So we're anticipating that we're going to be pretty busy for the rest of the year between July 1 and Christmas time. And then January 1, it drops by about $35 a kilowatt hour. So 10 kilowatt hour, it's going to be a $350 reduction. So yeah, get in while the value is at the maximum, and but it will be finishing at the end of 2030. So give us a message, give us a call, and see if there's anything else that you need to know. If I don't know, I'll find out. It's going to be very exciting, going to be very busy. There's a lot of new brands that are coming on the market to take advantage of this. A lot of them are fantastic. A lot of them aren't so fantastic. And that's where you need an educated opinion on some companies. Some companies might be coming out with a brand new product, and you may not have seen it before, but they've been around the company has itself been around for a long time. So there would be some credibility in a product like that. There's other products that are hitting the market. The brand spanking new. We don't know how they'll go. I've been burned by some brand new brands before. Luckily, I was supported by a distributor, so that was, there's no harm in trying them. But yeah, a lot of pretty much all the companies are rolling out new models for that July launch. So there's a couple about. Okay, then. All right, we'll talk to you soon, and send us a message. Send us an email, subscribe to the page, and look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.